What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in. It's 1TS Daily live right here at One True Sport. How's it going? My name is Zack Heydorn. I'm your host, and this is your daily fix of pro wrestling chatter and so much more. Thanks so much for being here. If you're listening and tuning in on YouTube, hello. Do me a favor. Hit that like button so that we can grow this show and get it in front of all the wrestling fans, all of them. Let's do it. Thank you in advance if you can hit that like button. I really appreciate it. If you're watching and listening on Twitter, hello, and thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for pressing play on the show. Glad to have you here. And we've got kind of a big agenda in the next 20 minutes or thereabouts to get through, which is pretty exciting. The live chat is open and waiting for you. So if you want to get involved and chat about the show or chat about your thoughts on wrestling or whatever you've got going on in your head about this wacky business, drop it in the live chat and we'll see what we can get to throughout the show today. If you want to make sure that I get to a certain topic that you want to talk about or a comment or a question of some kind, make sure you drop that into our super chats. I do have the super chats open and available, and you are able to take advantage of that right away and get involved in the show. It really is the best part of this show that you guys are such a great audience, and it makes my job really easy sitting back and chatting pro wrestling with you guys. So thank you in advance for the super chats. Any contribution amount helps us out, helps me out, helps One True Sport, helps the channel, and all that jazz. So thank you in advance. Couldn't do this without you guys. All right, so here's our agenda for the day. We're going to talk a little bit about yesterday's episode of NXT. Then we will hit a couple news items, and then we will get into our AEW Dynamite preview for tonight. Sound like a plan? Good plan? Thumbs up, live chat, thumbs up. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so last night on NXT, it was kind of I don't know, an interesting night at the office for NXT because you had some special guests. Eric Bischoff, yay, and X-Pac was cool. He was also on the show. So you had some special guests. So once again, you see, in NXT that's working hard to bring in viewers and to hold viewers, and and they're willing to try little gimmicks like, let's bring Eric Bischoff on the show. So that was kind of the hook. But the other hook was, we've got an NXT PLE coming up over the weekend. So we've got NXT Deadline on Saturday night, live from Minneapolis. As I said yesterday, we will preview NXT Deadline in full on the Friday edition of 1TS Daily. So don't miss that. You're not going to want to miss that. We'll preview both Iron Survivor Challenge matches. We'll preview the NXT title match, Trick Williams against Ridge Holland. And then, there's a tag team title match as well. So we'll talk about that. But we'll do our traditional kind of 1TS Daily style preview of that show on Friday. So you're not gonna want to miss that. Okay, let's run down some results from last night's show. Show opened with the women's kind of last chance match for the final spot in the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge at NXT Deadline. And this was a surprise. Ren Sinclair defeated Cora Jade, Jada Parker, and Kalani Jordan. That, to me, is a surprising outcome. Look, Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, and Cora Jade. I mean, all of those women have been featured in much more prominent spots than Ren Sinclair. So it really was a bit befuddling, especially with Cora Jade. Like, this was an opportunity, I thought, to get her back in that match. And I just just found myself being like, all right, what's going on here? I mean, and clearly, I mean, I think, once you break it down, it is an attempt to like just, I think, see what Ren Sinclair has. Like, she's been on TV kind of on the periphery, and now it's time to, okay, well, let's see what we got. And this is her time to shine. So, she's got a big opportunity, and this was a big win. And so, yeah, I'm surprised that they went down this path, but, we'll see. We'll see what happens. From there on the show, we had Eddie Thorpe. He talked about how everybody blamed him for knocking NXT general manager Ava out last week. Thorpe said it wasn't him, and that's that. That's that pretty much. From there, the next match was the number 1 contender battle royal for the tag team titles, and in this match. You had No Quarter Catch Crew. They won that to win a title shot for the tag team title. So it will be No Quarter Catch Crew against Axiom and Nathan Frazier for the tag titles at NXT Deadline. The next segment was Eric Bischoff. Oh boy. And he was the moderator for Trick Williams and Ridge Holland, their final showdown. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I know that Eric Bischoff is a prominent name in pro wrestling, and he has made major contributions to the pro wrestling industry. Unquestionably, a major influencer in the business. I just watch him now, though, and I'm like, man, will the real Eric Bischoff please stand up? Like, this guy, it just seems to me like he is just looking for those. I mean, unabashedly just looking for those paydays, and he will say and he will do anything that needs to be said or done to get one. And including, like, if Tony Khan tomorrow was like, hey, Eric, we want you to come on this show, and we want you to moderate, some kind of Continental Classic segment, and we're going to pay you, and that's that. The guy would be saying yes. Yet there he is on NXT going, hey, this is the future. You can't believe a word that comes out of this guy's mouth. I don't know that he has an authentic bone in his body at this point. I just watch him, and I'm just like, man, look, I mean, hey, it's the wrestling business, so everybody's trying to get theirs. I understand that, but man, with Bischoff, it just seems a little over the top. I wish he would pull it back. Now, he wasn't bad in this segment, and neither was Trick Williams, and neither was Ridge Holland. I thought it worked, to kind of like be a simple go home segment for that match. So, to that end, it worked really well. And, look, if you're an Eric Bischoff fan, or you were tuning in to NXT to kind of get a glimpse of Bischoff, I think you saw, Trick Williams, who's like the lead babyface on this show, and he was somebody that you could get behind or want to come back and see. And so, to that end, I thought it looked, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good segment. All right, so then we had Nikita Lyons against Carmen Petrovic. Petrovic defeated Lyons in just 3 minutes. So they have been all over the place with Nikita Lyons, and what to me, like, you had Nikita Lyons a couple weeks ago just kind of dust Lola Vice, and now Carmen Petrovic dusts Nikita Lyons. So if we're to believe this kind of hierarchy in NXT right now, Lola Vice is just at the bottom, which is so bizarre to see, because you had one time where she was like a kind of like an up and coming star getting featured, and it just it just has kind of fallen off. Gigi Dolan defeated Izzy Dame next. Really short match, kind of a return match for Gigi Dolan, and this absolutely made sense. You had X-Pac show up during Javon Evans' promo. Evans is a very strong talent. I think they need to be careful of him, coming across too much as like a kid fan who's like living out his dream at WWE fantasy camp. Like sometimes I think he gets into that, and he did with X-Pac, like that he's just totally like in awe of, oh my gosh, it's X-Pac. And like, that's fine to a certain point, but they do it a lot with him. And, sometimes you need to let stars just be stars on their own, and I think sometimes, star power comes from being your own person, your own character. Like you would never have seen Steve Austin like gawk at, somebody from the Hogan era, right? Like this just wouldn't happen. Like, he was, protective of his star power. So yeah, I think you just, again, you don't want to take it completely out of him, because I mean, he's part of his character is the fact that he's been a wrestling fan forever, and now he's in NXT and he's doing all this great stuff. Like that's all part of it, but you got to be careful because you want him to stand alone as a star at the top, and you can't do that if you're constantly gawking at others. All right, then we had the men's Iron Survivor Challenge last chance match. It was Lexis King, Axiom, Cedric Alexander, and Eddie Thorpe in that match, and Eddie Thorpe was the winner. Eddie Thorpe beat King and Axiom and Alexander. Good little match there. I thought it was good. I thought Eddie Thorpe was the right way to go here. I really did. Listen, Thorpe has something. There's something there with him that I think is strong. I think he's got a natural charisma. I think he's good in the ring. I think that he, when you watch him wrestle, it looks like he's fighting you and not just like, going through motion. So I think they've got a talent there. I'm not sure it's somebody that you're going to attach the NXT championship to, but if you're going to use this opportunity to put like Ren Sinclair in a match, like I think Eddie Thorpe, deserves an opportunity like that as well, and he's going to get one here. And then the show, wrapped up with Roxanne Perez in the ring talking about the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge, and you had the classic brawl of all the women involved in that match. Kind of paint by numbers, a little eye rolly, but I did think Roxanne Perez cut a good promo and set the table for a pretty good match on Saturday night. So good go home show overall. I think I'd give it a thumbs up, and it's a good final pitch to get people to watch that on Peacock. So that's NXT. If you're in the chat and you want to get into the conversation, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this and on your thoughts on NXT if you saw it yesterday. Okay, so a couple news nuggets. So Juice Robinson out of the Continental Classic yesterday afternoon after our show. He was replaced by Commander in that spot. Juice Robinson, due to injury. This is the quote from Tony Khan that he said on Twitter. Due to injury, Juice Robinson cannot complete the AEW Continental Classic. Aiming to prove that he can hang with the world's very best, high-flying and rising star will join the field accordingly, and the bracket will be adjusted accordingly, and that is Commander. Fightful reporting that Robinson broke his fibula. Ouch. Ugh, that's brutal. Just a brutal injury. Brutal injury there, but that's the situation, and it's unfortunate for Juice Robinson. So hopefully he comes back strong, and just a bad injury. In other news, Gunther is reportedly nearing a contract extension from WWE. According to PW Insider and Fightful Select, both, Gunther is believed to be deep into the discussion phases of a new contract. Sean Ross Sapp says he was told by WWE reps that they expect a long-term deal to be finalized by the end of the year, barring any kind of unforeseen circumstances. And of course, they obviously want to push this deal across the finish line. Like, that's that. They want that. I mean, obviously Gunther has been a major part of WWE television and events, and will continue to be. So this is this makes perfect sense as far as a deal that you want to get done if you're WWE, if you're Paul Levesque, if you're Nick Khan. So I've been harsh, but appropriate, I think, on what they've been doing with Gunther here the last 4 weeks or thereabouts. And I don't think it's been very fruitful for him. I don't know if that has anything to do with his contract situation or lack thereof right now, but something to keep an eye on. But I fully expect him to sign this contract and get the deal done. And he's not a guy that you'd let go if you are WWE. That's a guy that you pay what he wants and you give him what he wants so that he can continue to deliver for you. That's important. Amy's back in our chat. Amy says, "I'm back. Happy holidays." Happy holidays, Amy. Good to see you back. Glad you're here, and hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and hopefully you're all ready for the holiday season. I'm ready for the holiday season, but I'm not like ready. You know what I mean? Like, gifts are still outstanding. Still need to pick up a bunch of stuff for the kids and all that jazz. So like, I haven't even really got started on that yet. Christmas lights are going up this weekend though. So that's something. Thanks, Amy, for being here. Appreciate you. All right, let's talk tonight's AEW Dynamite, and we'll finish off the show. There. More Continental Classic action tonight. 2 Continental Classic matches will be on the docket. Claudio Castagnoli versus Brody King. This is a Continental Classic Gold match. Both Castagnoli and King won their first matches, so they are tied in the Gold League. And they had a little stare down, last week on the show. This is going to be an interesting match to see which way they go. I expect them to have a pretty good match here. I think they're going to give Castagnoli the win. I think they're going to. When you have Claudio beat Darby Allin the way that he did last week, like, I don't think you do that unless you're going to like make him a key fixture of the tournament in one of those leagues. Like, that's not a win you just pass out. That's a win that you give to somebody to set up bigger things to come in the tournament. So I think it'd be real silly for Claudio to have won last week against Darby of all people, only to lose to Brody King. Or sorry, not Darby. Ricochet. That's what I meant. Ricochet. You go with him on that. So I expect Claudio to win this one, and we'll see what happens. In Blue League action, Shelton Benjamin against Kyle Fletcher. Both of them won their first matches in the tournament, so this should be another good one. I think Kyle Fletcher is obviously going to be a focus of this tournament. He got the big win over Will Ospreay. That match looms if they want to do it again in the finals. And you just don't treat Fletcher softly. After you give him a big win like that over Will Ospreay, you go with him. And so it was good to see him hold strong on that to get him his first win. And I expect him to get the W here tonight over Shelton Benjamin. From there, we have Jay White versus Pac. They had the big brawl on Collision, and Jay White has been getting attacked by the Death Riders since Full Gear. So this makes perfect sense. This should be a good match. I'm curious to see what kind of babyface reactions Jay White continues to get. It's been mixed so far. I don't know that he's like really clicking as like a babyface, but he's certainly being booked like one, and I'm interested to see how he does here, and what kind of and what kind of involvement we see from Moxley and from the Death Riders, or for that matter, from Christian Cage. He's somebody who's lurking about as well. All right, then we have Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay. That's kind of a match that's just, happening. Swerve Strickland against Max Caster after their kind of backstage altercation last week. They are having a match, and Max Caster gets to prove that he's the best wrestler in the world, I guess, as he likes to say. Yikes. But that will happen. I would imagine that Swerve gets the win here, unless, they do more with the storyline with MVP. Maybe this is an avenue for Max Caster to join the Hurt Syndicate. That is a possibility, I would say, given what we've seen. So I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibility there, to see Caster do that as a way to, kind of get out of this match or protect Swerve if they do want to go with Caster as the winner. And then we've got the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal. The winner will face MJF for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. MJF has never lost that. He's the only person to ever hold that diamond ring. And, so who's going to win? I would imagine that it will be somebody involved in this wacky storyline. So I'm looking at you, Roderick Strong. I'm looking at you, Kyle O'Reilly. I'm looking at you, Adam Cole. We'll see. We'll see where they go. But I would expect it's going to be one of those three guys that challenges MJF for that ring. All right, that's Dynamite, guys. We'll review Dynamite tomorrow right here on the show, and then we'll talk all sorts of other content heading into the weekend. We'll do maybe a little bit of an Impact preview. We haven't talked about Impact in a while, so we'll do the Impact. TNA. TNA. That is on the docket for tomorrow, as well as kind of reviewing everything on this week's Dynamite. Robert is in our live chat and says, I will not accept any Eric Bischoff slander. He's the man. I know you don't agree with his politics, but it doesn't mean you have to be so negative towards him. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate the comment. I mean, I'm not negative towards him because of his politics. Yes, I don't agree with his politics, but that's not why I'm negative towards him. Did you see the segment last night, Robert? When I watch him talk and I watch it just seems like he kind of just goes as the wind blows. And I don't have a sense of what Eric Bischoff truly is and believes in this business. And look, that's just my opinion. If you like him and you think he's the man, good. I'm glad. I hope you enjoyed the appearance from on NXT yesterday. I mean, Eric on the show was fine. He was fine. I just, just between the podcast stuff and the AEW stuff, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. That's all. But to each their own. But I will say this: it's not because of his politics. If I was watching the wrestling business and analyzing the wrestling business, and I was negative towards everybody I didn't agree with politically, this wouldn't be a very, very interesting show to listen to. So no, that it's got nothing to do with that, Robert. Just straight up Bischoff analysis. But I'm glad you like him. I'm glad you liked his segment yesterday. I thought, good. That's why they have him on. And I think Eric still can draw. I think he still can pull some eyes in, and we'll see when the numbers come in today, just how much of an impact he has or had. But yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for tuning in live. But yes, guys, we'll wrap it up there. So tomorrow, be here. We'll talk about Dynamite. We'll talk Impact or TNA. Why do I keep calling it Impact? Man, what am I like? This is so 2023 to do that. We'll talk TNA. We will talk Dynamite, and we'll talk the news of the day. If you want more from me, I'll be live on the Brass Ring Media YouTube channel a little bit later this afternoon. I'm doing a full show on the New Day. So we'll do about a long form chat on the New Day and their history and their future after everything that happened on Monday. So don't miss that, 3 Eastern on the Brass Ring Media YouTube channel. Go over there right now to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss anything. You can also subscribe to our Brass Ring Media newsletter. It's on Substack. It's updated every day with written content from me and the team. and so much more. So check that out. Brass Ring Media Substack and Brass Ring Media on YouTube. Cool. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we will see you all tomorrow right here at 1TS Daily and One True Sport. I'm Zack Heydorn. Talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.